What's the good word, Josh? Your boy DKB here. So I was thinking about our linebacker position. Of course, we're looking to try to solidify things. I think we're a little too late in the game to say we'll find an actual upgrade, but we would like a little bit more insurance for that third linebacker position. A lot of us have high hopes that Kwon Alexander will return, lock down that unit officially once again, and we can call this a day. Give Jamien Sherwood another developmental year, and then we can give him an honest look the following season. But if that doesn't pan out, we know Kwon Alexander at least has some interest. The Steelers were looking into him earlier, and while it does look like he wants to come back, maybe the numbers around what he thinks his value is are a little too far apart, right? So what if he does decide to move on? He goes to the Steelers. We just can't find a number that we feel, confident about and that he's willing to agree to. I think I found a viable replacement for him, and this is almost a similar situation. A guy that has had similar success in the league before, had some down seasons, and now he's looking to bounce back coming off a career year. So in this case, I'm talking about Rashaan Evans from the Falcons. So we're talking about a former first-round pick here with the Titans back in 2018. 27 years old. He just finished playing on a one-year, $1.75 million contract. They got him at a bargain, as I mentioned, a career year, put up 159 tackles, 2 sacks, 4 passes defended, added a forced fumble into the mix. And so this is exactly the kind of player that I think we should make a habit of trying to sign, and not just at the linebacker position. If you could find a guy like this anywhere across the board, jump on it. This should be a staple of what Joe Douglas is looking to do on this free agency market now in terms of buying low on a guy that's, has his stock rising, essentially. So what are some of the reasons why he may be a good fit or at least a viable replacement for a guy like Kwon Alexander? Well, you take a look at the facts: 6'1", 235 pounds. Again, 27 years old, a bit faster than Kwon. He's offering some good sideline to sideline ability in terms of physically being able to go out there and handle the pass coverage duties. He played his first 4 years with the Titans, first 2 under Dean Pease in an inside linebacker role. So you have that versatility. And if you want to play the long-range chess game, you take a look at him and you say, this could be a potential replacement. Again, Jamien Sherwood and a guy now like Rashaan Evans. If you sign him, next season, you take a look at legitimately getting rid of CJ Mosley, saving, I think it's the $17 million in cap or something that we may be able to. You take a look at them maybe having a competition on the inside of that unit. And it would be legit competition if Rashaan Evans has another strong season with us, which I think he would, right? To kind of piece the full picture together. You're still talking about a guy that's had a career year, but he's done it on a Falcons defense where he didn't really have any support around him. He stood out on his lonesome, and that is a guy that I can always put my support behind, right? One of the other things, of course, feeding into that same argument is that you place him in a Robert Saleh defense that I'm sure Kwon Alexander benefited quite a bit as well. You take a look at Quincy Williams benefiting, CJ Mosley, even after some of these tough, what did he have? The ACL, if I'm not mistaken, before. He also had the groin injuries, a couple soft tissue hamstring things, I believe. He's been able to come back and still look good, earning a second-team All-Pro. So I feel confident about the chances of Rashaan Evans signing, sticking, and actually putting up some solid performances. And maybe you don't get another CJ Mosley type guy, but again, he's supposed to be one of those, I won't say generational talents, but, definitely one of the better ones that are only going to come along every so often. So that gives you some long-term versatility in terms of how you want to handle that unit moving forward. Durability is going to be the main thing that we all care about this season. Health is going to be at a premium for us. One of the best things about him, he started every game 3 of the last 4 years. He's appeared in at least 12 games the last 5 years. He's only been in the league for 5. So historically, this is exactly the kind of guy we want to look at and say, okay, perfect. If everything else checks out, we're good with the health. let's do it, right? And I know we haven't had the best luck. A lot of people are going to reference Chuck Clark, who just had the unfortunate ACL tear after having an Ironman streak of, I think, never missing any snaps over like a crazy amount. I think it was like over 2,200 snaps, something like that. But nonetheless, these are the guys I would be willing to risk day in and day out if I'm Joe Douglas. Some of the big red flags, though, right? A lot of people are going to look at him and they're going to say, well, he flamed out in Tennessee, which is true. He had two pretty strong years. After Dean Pease left, he kind of fell out of favor with the coaching staff, didn't put up the same production, didn't get his fifth-year option. What's the word I'm looking for? They didn't accept it, basically. So they declined it. He moved on to the Falcons. He made good on the 1-year deal promise, right? Pass coverage is going to be his red flag, though. Generally, overall, he just hasn't done very, very well in that aspect. But I think in an outside linebacker role, you can kind of mitigate that a lot. And then again, adding him in this rubber solid defense where we have this secondary that we have the line in front of us. I think that should do some wonders with kind of helping out some of those kinks in his game. But we'll get back to this discussion because there is a number that I really, really like in comparison to Kwon that maybe speaks to him not being as terrible as, just the stats at a baseline view will tell you. One of the things I do love outside of him being an average run defender, his missed tackle rate this season was 1.9%, only missed 3 on the season. So seeing that volume of plays that he's in and seeing that he's not letting guys get away also will feed into our pass coverage conversation shortly. I think are great signs of what he can probably still do and what he could potentially be. Not a huge upside guy, but there's still a little bit more to say that he can improve his game on for sure. And again, the fact that he's coming off a career year, that is something that I'm highly bought into. So from a pass coverage standpoint, when I take a look at him versus Kwon Alexander, the biggest number that I'm looking at here is the fact that he's not a guy that allowed a lot of yards after the catch. 204 compared to Kwon Alexander, who gave up 224, right? Not a significant portion, but keep in mind, Rashaan Evans is coming off a season where he's played something like 1,104 snaps. Kwon Alexander, I think to the T, only played 50% of the snaps for us. So in a little over double the amount of plays, Rashaan Evans was able to offer up less yardage, right? He's there in the plays. He's not letting guys just run rampant over him. I'll take that even if it comes by virtue of him giving up maybe a few more completions than we like. I would be interested to see what Kwon Alexander's numbers will look like over the course of playing 1,100 snaps as opposed to somewhere like 500. So that's worth pointing out as well, in my opinion. But nonetheless, let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Do you still prefer a Kwon Alexander? Would you take a serious look at a guy like Rashaan Evans? The sweet spot for me is also the cap number here. So Spotrac has him as a 2-year, $9 million projected contract. Still a little bit high for me, but there's two ways to look at this. One, if you can talk to him, maybe shave off a couple million, great value deal. If not, you keep the same price tag and you say, hey, let's only guarantee, 2 to 3 mil of this. We'll make the rest incentive based, and hopefully that's enough to reel them in. But let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll catch you guys again. Peace.